How are you guys doing? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. In this week's video, I want to cover a few topics. One, we'll talk about the Ethereum ETF getting approved, which was highly debated. We heard from Michael Saylor that no one else was going to get an ETF approval except for Bitcoin. It turns out that Michael Saylor is wrong again. And despite him being rich and wealthy and possibly influential, Michael Saylor is wrong again. So, this is good news for the industry, that we're not going to have just this one coin oligarchy, that we will not be negated from the free market. I think things like the ETFs make things like not a free market. So it's important that at least everyone gets the opportunity to compete at a similar level. And so Ethereum is now going to have access to more traders and more Wall Street and more investment, which I think is an overall good thing. Even though for the crypto ecosystem, I think we will surpass these types of assets and things like these things will be done in DeFi in the future. We're just in the early stages right now. So the question is, what crypto and cryptos are next to get approvals? And it's exciting because it will allow a lot more capital to flow into these assets, even though I don't think it's what really excites me about crypto. What excites me about crypto is actually having competition in currency, which is lost amongst a lot of today's investors and Bitcoin maximalists. And like Michael Saylor, some people even say like, hey, cryptocurrency is such a wrong word, but it's not even a currency. They sound just like JP Morgan. These aren't currencies. The blockchain will be valuable, but they're not currencies. That's not true. These things are going to be currencies that change the world. People are not going to want to use paper, fiat, government dollars. They're going to want to use better hard assets that are fast, cheap, and reliable to use, and that are useful peer-to-peer electronic cash. So I'm going to link a post that appears to be from the SEC. I could be wrong, but I do think this post is relevant because two of the assets have been pretty mainstream in towards their broader acceptance, whether they got a Bitcoin, they got a Grayscale trust investment before, or if they just been broadly accepted by things like BitPay or PayPal. A lot of these assets get included along with Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of their usage and acceptability for people to use. So first, there's a third coin here. I'm going to start with the first two. The first two coins is Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Cash, which there's no reason not to really get accepted. If Bitcoin would get accepted, and you think Bitcoin Cash would, the coin is one of the most used brick and mortars. It follows the Genesis block back to Bitcoin, and it's just another version of Bitcoin. And many would argue it is the original version of Bitcoin to be peer-to-peer electronic cash, fast, cheap, and reliable, unlike BTC today. So Bitcoin Cash has had a great year. It's outperformed BTC in the past year. It's actually outperformed Bitcoin in its first 7 years of existence. It's actually at a higher price today in its 7th year of existence than BTC. A lot of people are confused about, hey, it was really high in 2017. Yet the initial fork, there was a lot of flooding and investment into it, but it didn't really have the ecosystem, the infrastructure that takes years to build. And it took Bitcoin a long time to build those things as well. So it was highly overvalued, became undervalued, and now I think it getting broader acceptance and upgrading the protocol to have DeFi and fast transactions and bigger block sizes are all really bullish. The second one is Litecoin. Litecoin is another OG coin that's been around for a long time. It's been useful. It has a lot of transactions. You can tell from BitPay. I think it's one of the most popular coins on there with Bitcoin Cash and Doge and Bitcoin. Litecoin's been around for a long time. It gets broad, macro, inclusive options like PayPal and Grayscale Trust. I think Litecoin is likely to get an ETF as well, it appears. And then the third one, which if you read this post and these barometers, it looks like that the SEC laid out for itself that they would be open to offering ETFs. One that this checked off all the boxes essentially was Link. Link has been a popular project. It's a top 20 project. It helps link different ecosystems together. Is like their primary function. I do think other coins over time will be able to do a lot of these things that coins can do. I've even talked to some Bitcoin Cash developers says, hey, yeah, we can do everything that Link is doing. They're just not doing it now. So, but I think in the short term, this is big news for Link, and it has performed very well and is likely to continue. Not financial advice, just looking at what the SEC might be looking for. This is just speculation off a Twitter post that I found was interesting. So take it all with a grain of salt. Crypto is very volatile investing. Unless you really believe in it or know what you're doing, seek a financial advisor. So anyways, those are all very exciting things, but probably in even more exciting news, this gentleman back here, his name is Ross Ulbricht. I have him on my wall here, the link to his website, freeross.org. If you don't know who he is, I'll explain who he is, but what happened was exciting. He's been in prison for 11 years, and former President Trump said if reelected, he would commute his sentence. So this could potentially allow Ross Ulbricht to get out of jail. He's serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years for creating a website that promoted voluntarism, which voluntarism included things like using illegal drugs, meaning the government said you should not put these things into your body. Ross was very philosophical, very libertarian leaning, and built something that really gave Bitcoin back in the day its price, because in order for something to be a currency, it has to have utility. And the fact that Bitcoin was fast, cheap, and reliable and didn't require any counterparties to censor transactions, it first found its value on the Silk Road. So we owe a huge debt of gratitude in this whole crypto ecosystem, which will hopefully benefit the entire of humanity. It's already made many people millionaires and is offering more financial inclusion to people all around the world that don't have access to current banks. And with just a Wi-Fi connection and a easy to download wallet, you can participate in the global financial system. We owe a lot to Ross, and he's faced severe injustice with a worse prison sentence than El Chapo for a guy that created a website that people sold some drugs on. And if you look at things like Snapchat, Facebook Marketplace, these websites have this kind of same activity going on today. So it's these CEOs, Mark Zuckerberg and whoever Snapchat CEO, they're not in jail today, but yet there are billionaires owning websites that are allowing more people to have more opportunity in the marketplace. Ross was doing the same thing, and has had his youth, a large part of his, I think he just turned 40, taken away from him. So not telling you who to vote for, not even the biggest fan of Trump myself. And I really feel like if he believed this, he would have done it on his first term. But watching Ross's mother is really inspiring to see. She's not given up one day. She's gone out and fought for Ross every day, and gotten a large amount of people involved. Big shout out to the libertarian community, as President Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and other people came and spoke to libertarians. There's free Ross signs everywhere, making it known that, hey, we don't really like you, Donald Trump, and if you're going to do any good in promoting liberty values, getting someone like Ross Ulbricht out of jail would be key. And furthermore, I'd like to see conversations about Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, who also did a big service to people. Edward Snowden let people know that the government was spying on everything that they were doing. And then similarly, Julian Assange was publishing in WikiLeaks things that governments were doing that your taxpayer money is funding, and you have the right to know. And then lastly, newly arrested Roger Ver, putting him in jail for not paying taxes when he did pay an exit tax, seems awfully coercive and the wrong thing to do. So I think us as liberty-minded people, all these people did a lot to help promote personal liberty and freedom, and gave us information on things we did not know about what's going on. Roger taught us about Bitcoin. Edward Snowden taught us about what the government was watching us with, and Edward Snowden was just Julian Assange was just a journalist, letting us know what governments were doing, and Ross just taught us, the values of voluntarism, and not saying to partake in, illegal activity, but the injustice is definitely not right. So, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I will leave that post in my description below. I'll try to put it in the pinned comment as well. And let me know your thoughts on the ETF situation and on these liberty-minded people that are in prison. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for future content, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you.